Hello, lovely students and IELTS candidates. Hope you're doing fine. My name is Ralph, and welcome to my channel, IELTS with Ralph. Today, we'll focus on 4 types of questions in academic task 1 writing, and we'll delve into the graphs and the data in order to understand if we are given a graph or data, anything, how should we write? So the first step is to understand what type of question it is, what type of graph we are facing. So there are 4 main types of questions. The first one is trends. Trends. So what are trends? Some infographics require you to compare let's say the changes over a period of time. Now, if you look closely here in the video, you see this is a kind of graph. This is line graph. As you will see, we have lines, right? So on our graph, on vertical line, we'll have unit. Maybe it will be, I don't know, percent, or maybe it may be the amount of something, the money, anything, all right? However, on our horizontal line is very important, which is a date. For example, starting from this date up to this date, all right? This is trend. So we should compare graphs over a period of time. All right. So the verbs, the adjectives, the language that you use in trends should be kind of related to the change over a period of time. This is very important, and you should be very careful. So as you see here, we have the graph below gives information from a 2008 report about consumption of energy in the USA since 1980 with projections until 2030. Remember that graphs can be in the past or maybe in the future, but the question tells you that from what date we will have the data about future, right? So here we have from 1980 up to 2030. So you should compare the data over a period of time. Another type of graph that we have, which is about trend, right, over a period of time, is bar graph, as you see here on the video. So this is a kind of bar chart or bar graph. Again, we have on our horizontal line, we have the date. For example, it's starting from 1995 up to 2002. So we should compare the data over a period of time. And the vertical unit is millions, all right? Minutes, and which are measured by billions, all right? And, all right, so our next graph, actually, it is not graph, it is table. Table, trend table, let's say. As you see, we have 2 tables here, and the dates are 1999 and 2004. And here we have, for example, the consumption, about the sales of fair trade labeled coffee and bananas. So we have on our first table coffee and then bananas in 5 different countries in 1999 and 2004. So again, you will see that you should compare, let's say, the data in 2 years, 1999 and 2004. This is another type of trend. And then we have pie chart, as you see now, which is again trend. We have 2 countries, Yemen and Italy, and the dates are 2000 and 2050. So you should compare the data in the past and the future. Again, you have trend, which you have to compare the changes related to this bar chart. All right, so we have line graph, we have bar graph or bar chart, we have pie chart and table, which falls into the category of trend graphs. Then the next type of question is comparative graphs. Comparative graphs. Here, you do not have to compare the data over a period of time. You must compare data with no trends, right? So the let's say vertical line can be the unit of measurement. It can be, for example, minutes, it can be percent, it can be the money spent, anything. And the horizontal line can be, for example, countries, can be different types of things, but no date. We do not have dates here. So as you see, this is a kind of bar graph, all right? So in a bar graph, as you see, we have pounds, all right, in our vertical line, and in our horizontal line, we have cars, computers, books, perfume, and cameras. But we have only one date that gives you the information. So the date here is 2010, all right? We should compare these 5 expenditures, right? Cars, computers, books, perfume, and cameras. We should compare these things together, right? And then the next one, which is comparative again, is table. As you see, we have percentage of national consumer expenditure by category. It is in 2002. So we have 5 different countries in our table, and we have 3, as you see, consumer spending. It is food, drinks, tobacco, clothing, footwear, and leisure and education. We should compare these 5 countries and their, let's say, spending on 3 different items, all right? And then we have pie chart in comparative graphs. As you're seeing now, right now, this is a kind of pie chart, sorry. So the first chart below shows how energy is used in an average Australian household. The second chart shows the greenhouse gas emissions which result from this energy use. So we should compare that how energy is used in Australian household, and then what is the result of this spending, right? Then we have, for example, heating, water heating, cooling, lighting, and different things. And then we have in comparative graphs, we have mixed charts. It can be the mixture of bar chart and pie chart. It can be a mixture of pie chart and table, right? So as you see right now, we have a mixture of pie chart and table. And you should compare these 2 charts, right? So on our next sessions, we will delve into writing these types of questions, actually mixed charts. Right now, you should just understand that this is a kind of comparative graph that you should compare, right? You should compare the causes of worldwide land degradation with the causes of land degradation by region, okay? Then we have processes. Processes are, if you ask me, I can say that pretty easy. Not that much difficult as they may seem. So you must describe a process or cycle in a number of stages. It can be in the production of something, maybe the production of pencil, or it can be, let's say, the life cycle of an animal, maybe a salmon, all right? So processes can be 2 types. The first one is numbered, as you are seeing right now. Well, take a look at this image. This is a kind of process, all right? And it is numbered. We have the numbers, for example, step 1, step 2, right, up to step 3 or stage 3. Then we have another kind of process which is unnumbered. And unnumbered, we do not have any number. For example, our first stage will be this, our second, our third, our fourth, and go on, all right? And so on. So here in an unnumbered, it's not that much difficult. If you may ask, for example, if there are any differences between numbered and unnumbered. No, there are no differences. Just have in numbered processes, you just know the first step is this, and the second step is this, and third step. But here again, as you see in the cement production and concrete production, we do not have any number, but we know that how to write what are the stages of the production of cement and concrete, all right? And our last type of question is maps. You will be given a map, and usually we have two maps. The first is, for example, maybe the map of a city in, for example, 1990. And the second map is, again, the same city after maybe 20 years or 30 years. So you should write the changes. Now, as you see, it's a kind of map, right? So before, it shows an island, right? Before, after. You should write the changes. We'll work on this part, how to write the details here. So just try to know that this is a kind of map. And mostly in Task 1 Academic, bar graph and line graphs are more common. And maps, rarely you'll be given maps or processes. So if you want to work hard and if you want to dedicate some time to writing, so be careful about, let's say, the number of writings that you want to write. So if you have planned to write, for example, 30 sample writings, so you can have just half of writing about graphs, line graphs and bar graphs, or maybe pie charts, okay? Because they are so much common questions that you will encounter in your IELTS. And maps and processes are rarely given in IELTS. Maybe, for example, if you take part 5 times in IELTS, and I hope you take part just once, but if you take part 5 times in IELTS, maybe one of them will be process or maps. So these types of questions are rarely, let's say, used in IELTS Academic Task 1. All right. This is our the end of our session. We worked on different types of questions. Our next part, we will delve into those 4 areas that I talked to you on our previous session. Task achievement, how to reach task achievement. How can we have a good command of a writing which be in line with task achievement that the examiner is looking for, all right? So our next part will be very, very important. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have any question, please ask on comments, and I will answer all your questions. Goodbye.